Richard Dean. I'm going to be the moderator of this discussion. I guess I have two qualifications for being up here. One is that I'm a business journalist. I present a business radio show here in Dubai, the Business Breakfast on Dubai Eye Radio. And the second is that I'm managing director of a small interior design company, Pallavidine Interiors, and we design hotels. So that's how I managed to get this gig. Thanks very much indeed for being here. The premise of today is this. The region has woken up, and did maybe a couple of years ago, to the importance of mid-market hotels. We realised that 2 or 3 years ago it wasn't all about 5-star and luxury. The situation we have now is that everyone's kind of piling in at the same time. The international brands, the local brands, governments, everyone's building mid-market hotels. And that, to me, raises a few questions. How are we going to differentiate between the different hotels? How are we going to differentiate between different subsectors of the mid-market, different audiences? These are some of the questions that I want answers to today. And I want those answers to come from a couple of sources. Yes, the panelists up here, an awful lot of expertise, I'll introduce them in a second. But my one request to everyone here is that I want lots of comments and questions from the audience, because these guys do not have a monopoly on expertise. So, can I rely on your cooperation in that, please? Yeah? Thanks very much. We're going to be coming around with microphones quite soon. We're not going to do the panel discussion and then Q&A 5 minutes before the end. I'll be coming to you throughout the conversation. So please be part of it. Either a comment, an observation, a story, an experience, or a question. Let's get this really motoring. Right, let me introduce our panel then. We have 4 panelists here today, all representing different aspects of the mid-market, if you like, situation, and they are in no particular order. Will you please join me in welcoming our panelists today, the chairman of the Vision Destination Management, Ali Abu Monassar. Can you join us, please, Ali? Thank you. We also have Dr. Amine Moukarzel, the president of Louvre Hotel Groups in the Middle East and North Africa. Join us, please, Amine. Thanks very much indeed. Nice to see you. Tafadhal. If I can also welcome up the Senior Vice President of Product Marketing at Miral Asset Management, doing a lot of interesting work at Yas Island in Abu Dhabi. Karim ElGuanaini, please. Can you join us? Thanks very much indeed. And finally, from Hilton Worldwide, the Regional Head of Focus Service Brand Management, Mark Noble. Hey, nice to see you. And Mark, thank you very much indeed. Good to see you, Mark. Nice to see you. Thank you. Have a seat. Thank you very much indeed. Do you want to have a seat in the middle? Sure, I'll sit on the end here. I can hopefully control you all from here. Amine, I'm going to start with you from Louvre Hotels, and I'm going to start with you because I'm a journalist and you've been making the most headlines over the past 48 hours. Big announcement about the new hotels that you're developing in this region.
Well, making the announcement the last 48 hours, becoming a way of life. First, I want to thank you for your introduction. I would like to thank also the ATM organizers and indeed Drax, our PR agent, and take this opportunity to thank the audience, whoever managed to manage their time to be with us here today and to listen to us. However, not everything we say you believe, so be careful in this context. And last but not least, I want to thank my friend, the chairman of the group, the chairman of Louvre Hotel Group Worldwide, Mr. Pierre-Frédéric Rouleau, who came specially from Paris with all his travel pattern and obligations to be at ATM the first time, the first year with us as Louvre Hotel Group, growing steadily, strongly, and with all great motivations, in particular in the mid-scale and the budget hotels. Having said that, indeed we are pretty much motivated with our brands, having from one star to 5-star luxury brands within the Louvre Hotel portfolio, being the second largest hotel group in Europe, the third largest in the Middle East, North Africa, and the 4th at present worldwide, after we have been acquired by our new owners, Jingjiang from China. The growth momentum, the motivation, the passion we bring in this region has been demonstrated in our mid-scale and other brands of Golden Tulip Hospitality Group, from the Tulip Inn to the Golden Tulip to the Royal Tulip. Building up on this particular platform of success, what we have with the 60 hotels we have at present in the region, it is time, ladies and gentlemen, to capture the opportunities into the budget hotel sector, which is becoming pretty much a motivation for all. And as Mr. Chairman mentioned to me earlier, it's not only we talk about it or we know about it, it's definitely to be able to prove in the marketplace our offerings. And our offerings as a budget hotel sector, being the leader in Europe, we bring in such expertise of Louvre Hotel Group of premier class as a brand of, let's say, 1-2 stars, and the company, which is our second strong brand in the budget hotel sector, to definitely invade the budget investors in the hospitality. And definitely I will continue later on. I can carry on and carry on. So
well, I'm interested in the way that they're changing. I mean, for example, just the photographs with the press release over the past 48 hours of, I think it's a Campanile, and I think what you're calling the hub at the center of the hotel. I mean, that is a long way from the traditional budget, shabby hotel that we were traditionally used to when we thought of
people were saying in the past, budget hotel, it is not branded, it is no standard, it is shabby, it is a hotel or a hotel company or a brand or a hotel name I don't trust. However, things have changed. Traditionally, we are used in this part of the world, and if I take you into a journey from the 70s, it used to be just only government spending on investment on opening hotels, and this used to be amongst the top 10 brands. Lifestyle have changed. Travel patterns have changed. Borders have been eased, and referral business yet take us to distribution and take us to technology, and this is where the strength today of Campanile being part of a conglomerate, being part of the 4th largest hotel group worldwide. Imagine just at a glimpse, if you close your eyes and you say, I have a brand, that I am an investor, I am an employee of this particular company. So what are the parameters of success that you can have ahead of you as opportunities of motivations? And this is where Campanile, as a lifestyle mid-scale of a brand, that we bring in to this region with the expertise of the brand integrity. The brand integrity, ladies and gentlemen, in its offering. The brand integrity in its standards, in its requirements, in the easements to my architect and to my government institutions for the licensing of the brand and of the hotel and what we do. And the success remains to be in terms of having a critical mass in a marketplace. So I can be more successful tomorrow if I have 5 companies in the UAE. Why not? And this is the key of the budget hotel, to provide a perceived brand with a perceived standard and with a delivery that I live up to the promise of the brand deliverables.
I know Mark and Karim are both going to speak about hotels and properties in particular, but Ali, if I can turn to you first of all, because you're a destination management company, you have experience in hotels, but your organization Vision is a DMC, so you're catering and will be catering to... Can we try and fix the microphone?
These are fireworks. These are fireworks.
Is that fireworks?
Fireworks.
Let's hope it's fireworks. Sorry, Ali, before we were rudely interrupted. You're a DMC, a destination management company. How does the emergence of the new mid-scale market, how does that affect your world? What will you be doing?
First of all, I would like to make a clear message. We don't intend by shifting to the mid-travel that we change the luxury of the destination. It is adding value and trying to get the different segments of the different markets. Being associated to the destination for more than 30 years and ATM for 23 years, I have seen so many changes because Dubai was only for shopping, and then for real estates, and then for luxury, and then for culture. The destinations will cater for all kind of budgets. And when we intend by budget hotels, we don't reduce the quality of service provided, whether related to the hotel offers or also to the entertainments and the activities in the destination. Destination is supporting by every day almost 2 projects new since 2003, never stops in announcing and implementing correctly so many projects which enhance all the industry and all the investors, okay, to target different segments. So the mid-market is not a shifting, but it's adding. So, you know, the destination is that not that big. So being surrounded by more than 1 billion person in the region, okay, we are trying to cater at least for 20-25 millions by 2020. Okay, this is the targets, and for that, naturally, you have to diversify your offer. Okay, so we have luxury hotels and we have 4-star hotels, and today the trend is to build also the other markets to allow people also to come, for those people who are not affording to stay in 5 stars. But I believe that the experience will remain the same for everybody who comes to this destination, whether he's staying in luxury 5-star hotels, 7-star hotel, or staying in 3-star hotels.
Well, let me ask a different question. What are the different demands or requests you get from individuals staying in these, say, 3-star hotels, or the tour operators bringing in volumes of people into 3-star hotels? Are they asking for different things? Are they saying, well, Ali, yeah, we'd love to do this, but it needs to be at 100 dirhams a head rather than 400 dirhams a head? How are those conversations working?
Well, it depends actually to whom you are working. You know, also for any tour operators, there are targeting different segments of the market. So you cannot find a tour operator or DMC working with so many levels and so many different segments of the market. So we would find a tour operator was asking you for 7-star hotels only, meanwhile you find the travel agents or small tour operators who are dealing with the middle travel, who are asking more than anything is the local experience. They are always trying to get, and I think is the major reason to travel, is to get the local experience in that country you are traveling to. The hotel mainly, they are always the same. Wherever you go, if you have chain hotels, you will have the same. In London, in Paris, in Dubai, in Hong Kong is the same. So they are looking for the local experience, the local contact also with local experience, and to exchange that experience with the local community. Then the activity, naturally Dubai has grown. You know that in this year we will have 4 main entertainment projects opening. Okay, in August we will have the IMG, we will have the Opera, then we will have the resort in for the Rox, yeah, for the Rox project, and then Al Habtour at the end of the year, the theater, the international activity and entertainments. That is adding value. Also, government of Dubai is trying also to enhance the culture side by creating so many activity in order to give that flavor touch of local experience.
So Karim, if I can turn to you and what you're doing in Abu Dhabi with Miral. Miral, I'm not going to lie, was probably a word I hadn't heard a week ago. And then I read the stories about the Warner Brothers theme park that you're developing on Yas Island and thought, okay, Miral, that's interesting. You do a lot of work in Abu Dhabi, so very briefly explain what Miral is. And then if we can quickly move on to the way that you're approaching the mid-market, because you were saying to me earlier on before we came on stage, you've tweaked some of your business model and your plans and your projects over the past couple of years as you've seen the market develop and mature. So talk us through that evolution, please.
Hello everyone. Miral has been established since 2011. We're an asset manager, a developer, and a destination manager. The destination that we currently manage is Yas Island, and indeed we weren't in the picture for quite a few years, but now we're planning to be more proactive, and we have a lot of really exciting projects to announce this year. One of the destinations that we're really focused on is Yas Island, and it's really a mass market destination. The interesting thing about the mid-market travel or the concept of travel is that it's important to diversify. I think diversification is becoming critical. The mid-market is looking for choice when it comes to planning, so the planning process is actually changing. And as you mentioned earlier, talking to tour operators, travel agents, DMCs, this is something that you notice is becoming a big shift. A product, a diversified product, so different tiers of hotels, is not necessarily the only thing that the customer is looking for. I think there's a lot more. Services is what they're looking for, so you have to ensure that you're providing them with the right types of services and the experience as a whole to help complement that type of sector. Customers are becoming more and more critical, so it's important to be able to focus on what they really are looking for and as well be able to deliver it. From our standpoint and the way we focus on key markets, Richard, what we've been doing is we've been looking at developing and focusing on key regional markets that are capable to deliver mid-market business and leisure and entertainment groups. And then we started reaching out to international markets, so a wider reach of markets in order to be able to cater to them as well, based on the requirements that they may have, provided that the island can provide that to them.
I'm going to come to the audience for a comment or a question in a second. First of all, Mark, representing not just Hilton Worldwide, but I guess on this panel, the world of international operators. I was at the launch of one of your properties about 6 weeks ago in Dubai, 2 months ago maybe, and it was a property just by Mall of the Emirates, one of your focused service properties. And listening to the speeches when that was opened, two themes seemed to me to come up again and again. One was the design of the property. It was a new property. It looked very nice, very modern and very slick, and not budget or shabby at all, quite the opposite. But also location. Location was a massive part of the selling proposition that the developers were talking about. It was right next to Mall of the Emirates, and in fact, Majid Al Properties was the developer. So that design and location were the two things that I took away from that launch. But from your perspective, what are the key success factors?
Well, when you take a look at the hotel business, location, 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 it is really about where we place the hotels, and we pay particular attention. Today we have 3 Hilton Garden Inns open in Dubai. Mall of the Emirates was the third one. It's our largest with 370 bedrooms, but we have 2 other hotels, one in Al Muraqabat in Europe, and the other near Port Rashid in MENA. And each one of those is a micro market unto itself. With MENA, when you take a look at it from the standpoint of the new cruise port and everything that's going on with the docks and things, there's a lot of businesses coming into the area. It's going to be business oriented, it's also going to be leisure oriented. So for us, it's being able to have a mixture of business in what we do. Today, when you take a look at the Hilton Worldwide organization, more than 4,600 hotels around the world. The 2 biggest brands in our organization are the Hampton by Hilton brand with more than 2,100 hotels, and the Hilton Garden Inn brand with more than 660 hotels. So we're building upon our history and our knowledge, and then what we do is we adapt to the local market where we're located. But one of the cores for our brands, really in terms of the guest experience and wanting them to come back, has to do with the fact that we have a service guarantee. The Hampton brand, Hampton by Hilton brand, was the first brand to have a true satisfaction guarantee, 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you're not pleased with your stay, we don't expect you to pay. And the Hilton Garden Inn properties have what we call the promise. Same principle. If you're not satisfied, we don't expect you to pay. So it's incumbent upon us as operators to make sure we're looking after our guests, and both of those programs are the core to our team member training so that we're helping our guests to facilitate whatever the reason for their trip. And when you take a look at our Hilton Honors program, more than 50 million members, they're looking for our brands when they're traveling, and they want to stay with us because they get to earn their points while staying with us, but they also know what they're going to have when they're in the hotel.
Just before I go to the audience, what are the, if you like, the universal truths of focus service that you've learned that apply equally in the United States or in Japan or in the Middle East? And what are the elements that are unique to this market or unique to a hotel outside Heathrow Airport in the United Kingdom?
Well, I think the universal is the guarantee. When we take a look at that, that gives us credibility with the customer. They know that if something goes wrong with their stay, that we're going to be unequivocal in terms of giving their money back. I think that what we do as we're preparing for our hotels to open is a great deal of research to understand the market. So when we look at Dubai, and with the new guidelines that we have for 3- and 4-star hotels, paying particular attention to those guidelines and making sure that we've folded those into the design. So Hilton Garden Inn is at a 4-star. Hampton by Hilton, which is coming here shortly, and by the way, we're going to open up the world's largest Hampton by Hilton here in Dubai, in Al Qusais, 420-bedroom hotel in the not too distant future. So when we take a look at both of those brands and we maintain a differentiation between the brands, and Hilton Worldwide today has 13 brands, but we maintain the differentiation. Some of it is through food and beverage, some of it is through paying attention to what the customers want, but each one of our hotels has a gym because it's become very, very important for what customers want when they're on the road. They need to know that they can maintain their fitness regime while they're traveling. How we pay attention to food and beverage, different categories need a different type of food and beverage. And we have that in terms of what we're doing with our Hilton Garden Inn and our Hampton by Hilton brands.
I'd love to get some comments or thoughts or questions from the floor. Who's got the first question for our panellists? Yes, please. Lady right over here on my far left. I think there's a microphone coming to you now. If you can tell us your name and then your quick comment or question. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Sally and I'm from Hard Rock Cafe Dubai. I just wanted to know, you're talking about the hotels, the mid-market hotels coming to the region. What I wanted to know specifically is where are these people going to go when they get here and they're staying in their nice 3- or 4-star hotel? As we know, for the people who live here, it's not a cheap place to go out and eat, for example. You can go to the malls and you can find things cheaper in your own home countries. You go to the water parks, you go to Burj Khalifa. These things all cost quite a lot of money, and so far as I can see have been, geared to the luxury sector. So what are these people going to do once they get here?
Thanks very much indeed, Sally. Ali, I'm going to throw that one to you first of all as the destination management company. What are they going to do that they can afford to do?
Well, there are many things, as I said. We are trying absolutely with our partners, okay, when we come to offer something to the mid-market to also take care of these situations. So we are preparing sometimes a package. It's not only hotel to offer and then put the client to come and, he will have more than one option, 2 options to go to places where he wants, but we package him his stay, including food, beverages, excursions, tours, city tours, and other activities. Naturally, we try to negotiate best rate we can. We put a small margin, and we ask also our partner to facilitate that, because at the end, you cannot put somebody in a hotel, okay, maybe paying small, and then you ask him double that to eat, for example, or to move around.
So you're trying to go to
Packages.
the tour operators.
Correct.
Who are bringing in volume and giving them an all-inclusive package, but not necessarily all-inclusive as in all you can eat and drink in this one property, the Rixos. It's all-inclusive to the person paying, but one night they'll be eating at Sally's Hard Rock Cafe, and the next night they'll be coming.
if the men's stay is a week, we make 5 days almost. We don't talk about all inclusive. So we're talking about package for work, for example. So it includes accommodations and food. Food and beverage is not included because that is the options, because you offer it to different people who would like to have alcohol, people who will not, so you cannot absolutely package that. And then we leave maybe 2 nights. A stay is okay, breakfast is okay, maybe half board, and the other 1 night, 1 evening or 2 evenings to go around and shop by himself where to eat and where to go.
Amine, a similar question to you. How are you selling your rooms? Are they through your website? Are they through booking.com? Are they through bulk deals with tour operators from Russia, China, India, wherever it may be? I'd be interested to know how that's happened up to now, and maybe how you see that changing going forward.
With the strength of our system, this is one of the main vehicles to drive revenues to our hotels. So we have our own reservation system, we have our own online, and then this is whereby we drive the most of revenues to our hotels. Having said that, it is important to also address the OTA's business and how they are getting stronger and stronger. So it's also important to be in control of the source of the business coming to your hotels, and how to drive the business to the hotels, and how to have your integrity, your rate integrity, which leads you to your rate parity in certain cases, in order to respect those drivers, to ensure that you optimize your revenues to your hotels. However, some destinations you need to capitalize on group business and on packages. In some instances, we sell the destination. It's important to sell the destination, not only your hotel. In some instances, we need to respect, appreciate, motivate, and cater to the country where we are and to sell the destination. And this is where you have a certain differentiating factor. One of the key drivers today is to ensure that also your reviews are well monitored, well appreciated, and well responded to ensure that you have maintained this integrity of your customer relationship per se. And this is one of the key drivers today.
I think perhaps one of the underlying premises of your question was that these are tourists looking for something to do. So my question, particularly to Mark and Amine, who have networks of mid-scale hotels already operating, what's the split at the moment of what we would call a business traveller versus a leisure traveller or a hybrid? Amine, could you give me a percentage figure?
I wouldn't give you a percentage, rather I leave this to your perception as key audience here. However, I can give you some criteria for you to put such measures into place. In city hotels, like today, we have so many business people coming for exhibitions, for trade shows, for conferences. However, these target audiences are attracted to Dubai not only to come to the exhibition, they are attracted to the new wonders of the world that we have in Dubai. So then there is a mix. So it's up to you as a hotelier and with your travel agents, with your tour operators, with your other providers to put all this together in order to have a more enticing destination and a better hotel offering, which lead to a hotel customer experience. So today, we need to differentiate between a hotel stay and a guest experience. And this is a very sensitive approach. This is whereby my city hotels attract tourism business as well. And if we take the tourist hotels where we have resorts, I have 1 or 2 hotels selling all-inclusive. I'm not in favor of all-inclusive. And sometimes you are compelled to accept this particular customer profile to have all-inclusive. So we try to have certain allotment for the all-inclusive. We try to give them a different dining room. Even this is in 5-star hotels. So there is also here a differentiating factor. So it's very important today as open skies, as opening borders, as easement on visas, as budget airlines, as much as all the way to connecting airlines. And I can give you also another small experience here. A transit passenger coming on Emirates Airlines to Dubai loves to have a transit night in Dubai. For what reason? To experience Dubai tourism business. So they are together today. Take another segment that is an important major segment to all the city hotels. The last decade, it has become an important segment in our resort hotels. And guess what segment is this? This is the MICE segment. And the MICE segment, it is an important segment for both the business and the tourism segment.
Very quickly, Mark, similar question to you of your focus service hotels. What would be a typical mix between leisure and business traveller, if those distinctions are still valid globally? How would that compare to the Middle East at the moment?
Well, for us, there aren't clear defined numbers because when we take a look at it, we need both pieces of business in order to be successful. I'll use the Mall of the Emirates property. You know, when there are conferences and events going on here in Dubai, hotel is doing fantastically well during the week while those meetings, conventions, and events are taking place. And then as the weekend approaches, we see a lot of leisure business going to the mall to do shopping. So each one of our hotels that we have operating, you know, the 3 here, the 2 in Saudi Arabia, what we see is a true mix of business. And part of what we look at, and we talked about destination, location, is making sure that we're in a place where we can have a good mix of business and achieve an optimum of both business and leisure business so that we can maximize the revenue opportunity for the hotel. So for us, it's looking at that location, but when we take a look at globally what we're doing, it's probably a 70-30 mix, business to leisure. And we, you know, that adjusts depending on the season of the year. It adjusts on the location. You know, if we're here in Dubai, Mall of the Emirates is one way. If we're in Orlando, Florida, totally different.
Let's take a couple more comments and questions from the audience, please. I'd love to get your observations, your thoughts on this. Who's got the next question for the panel? The next question or the next comment? Yes, please, sir. Gentleman right in front of me here on the front row in the powder blue suit and the matching pastel tie and pocket square.
Hi. Amine Karim. Just very simple question. I'm not that expert in hotels and tourism, but I'm gonna just ask as an individual. During all time, traveling, hotels, it's developed by time. First of all, you go and just book for the hotel and that's it. And you have a phone or someone. Or can you get any information about any hotels through your friends or through people around you? Now technology has become more and more, and you become dependent on yourself. Now you have a booking, you have iPad, you can do all the things by yourself. The question is, how can we attract these people, help them to guide them? Because a lot of hotels, a lot of companies for tourism, we can guide them by individual. This guy wants to spend time. I believe second stage, just people, they think only he booking and that's it. Now, how can I make him sure that his staying, he will enjoy it, he choose to take this hotel or this agency. This issue only as a simple.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? And it could be a digital concierge, or it could be a more traditional type of concierge. Karim, when you're developing your propositions, how do you approach that idea of how are you going to give your guests a kind of menu of things to do either in the hotel or in the surrounding area? Do you use technology, or is it still a man in a cap by the door?
So we focus on using a bit of both, Richard. But to your point, we think that what's important is really to develop awareness. And you keep the momentum of keeping people informed about what the destination has to offer, or what does the product have to offer. Once they have that and they pass the phase of awareness and they understand what the destination has to offer, they enter the intent phase where they actually have the intention to come. And that's where the technology kicks in and the types of services that we may offer kick in. We focus on using toll-free numbers, live chats. We also want to support customers as much as possible. And again, it depends on the types of customers that you have and where they're coming from, and what types of services do they really want you to offer in order to help give them better information about the destination overall, its products and its services. Again, we believe that packaging is something that is really key. It's essential in its own way. Some customers will choose the all-inclusive package, where they want to be talking to someone and decide, okay, I want to come book this flight, stay in this hotel, have an all-inclusive stay, go to the theme parks, go to the mall, and leave. Others will want a lot of choice. And I think that as a destination management company, or as a hotel, or as a destination management department, we need to be ready to provide that to the customers. Otherwise, they'll choose to go elsewhere.
We've got about 20 minutes left, so we'll try and keep the questions and the answers fairly concise if we can. Mark, what are you learning, either in Dubai or globally, about the kind of technology that works and is essential in focused service brands, and the type of technology that's just a nice idea in theory but actually nobody wants?
Well, when we take a look at technology, the standpoint of Wi-Fi is king. You have to have an excellent Wi-Fi system in the hotel, and for us, we've always been free to the guest. And that's in the public space as well as in the guest room, because there's points where travelers, depending on the traveler and the purpose of their trip, if you're a business person and you may be on the road, you may want to be in the public space of the hotel and be able to conduct business. You don't want to have to be in your bedroom. But if you're on a leisure trip and you're with your partner and you're looking to explore, you want to be able to facilitate that as quickly and easily as you can. So for both of our brands, we have a variety. We have a person who can help, and that's our front desk team that can help. We also have the technology.
Even in a Hampton, you have a front desk team who will help if I say, I'm in Milwaukee for 2 nights, where's a great place to get a steak? There'll be a person who can say, go 2 blocks down the road.
Absolutely, that's an essential part of us knowing our neighborhood, where we are and what the offerings are, and being able to interact with the guests and understand what they're truly looking for as well, so that they can have a great experience and get to know the particular location where they're staying. I think the piece that we're learning as well here is the fact that it's changing quickly and very, very quickly. And I'm one of those today. On this trip, I'm traveling with 4 devices. So it's having the bandwidth to be able to handle it, because you do different things at different times. So being able to have that and being able to adjust to what the customer wants is probably the most important facet, and the customers have different expectations. For us, focused service, we don't typically in the United States have bellman and doorman, but we know that we need to have people around to help facilitate with that here in this region, and that's very important. Once people get to know the brands and as they come through, they understand how we work, but you're going to have to adjust and flow with the demands of the customers that are coming into the hotels.
Amine, the same question to you. What are you learning about the technology that really matters and makes a difference?
I cannot agree more, but still, what is important as we plan new properties today, as we renovate hotels, is to ensure that the product that we offer is definitely technologically driven. From a construction standpoint, So when you develop a new property, this is what you have to think from your in-room smart system, and all the way, not only to the Wi-Fi to become like an amenity you offer your customer to, but today, whether you are in your bedroom or you are in a public area, in a restaurant, this is taken for granted that this is given. But also, it is very important that we think that tomorrow, with the new millennials coming along, so the millennials of today are in 10 years time no more millennials, so we have new millennials. And I can tell you, I am 2 millennials, not one, so I am equal to 2 millennials today, and this is what I have to know what they want in terms of technology. So from their tablet requirements to check in to a room and to avoid queuing on checking in, on concierge facilities, on checking out, etc. Like in the 70s and 80s, it was a wow factor when we had in our design process looked at putting a fax machine in the room. Today, I have to think how in my in-room smart deliverables are important, and I have our regional chief engineer smiling at me because he's expert in these things. Him and Rami, our SVP of development and acquisition, and from these millennials, I am learning the status of what to cater to our traveler in the future. So it's very important to keep abreast of these technological offers.
Richard, if I can add one other element that we have, we're leading the way with, is direct to room, and the ability to use your phone not only to check in, select your room, to check in, but it also is becoming your room key to get in and out of your room. So as you were talking about lines and things of that nature, for our Hilton Honors members, it gives them the ability to make their room selection, be able to, in a lot of locations, come in, check in by doing it digitally, and go directly to the room. They bypass the front desk. Now, it's not in every location because we have to live with the rules and regulations, but it helps us from that standpoint of expediting the guest. The guest knows where they're going. They know what their view is out of their room. They know the bed type that they're getting, and being able to do that. And we've got every one of our hotels in the system that you can do that with now in terms of reserving your room online the day before you check in.
Let's talk about a subject close to my own heart, the design of the hotel, both in terms of the look and feel and the aesthetic, but also the functionality and the space planning and the efficiency. I am biased, full disclosure. I own an interior design company, so clearly I think design is very important. But obviously you take a more objective view. Put it in some kind of context. How important is it in the buying decision of the guest to have a hotel that looks and feels nice and is efficiently planned? Amine and Mark in particular, as owners and operators, but also to you Karim, as well.
It's essential. When we take a look at what we're doing, and while our brands are global, what we do is think local in terms of how we adjust and how people are going to use the space within the hotels. That means we have to look at what's around our hotels so we can make sure we have the right features inside the property to give guests choice. If we take a look at the typical business traveler staying at a Garden Inn, spends 2 nights, we know the first night they're entertaining or being entertained, and the second night they're catching up on everything that they didn't do the first night. So, being able to work in your room, if that's what you want to do, if you want to work in the lounge, if you want to work in the bar, if you want to work in the restaurant, it's very important. So having the electrical outlets, and for us today it's electrical plus USB that are going into the plugs that we're placing in our guest rooms, to be able to have those bedside, so if you want to be charging overnight, you can do that. Or if you're sitting at a table, a community table in the public space, to be able to make sure that you're charging your devices while you're there. All of these play an essential part of it.
Karim, same question to you.
We Richard look at the macro side of design. So to start off with, when it comes to a hotel, what we look at is the different types of room sizes, room types that are available. What F&B brands do they bring that could complement each other within the destination, as part of the destination. But the most important thing that we look at is functionality and walkability. Functionality
and
walkability.
walkability.
Yeah. So functionality from the standpoint of, does this hotel cater to the right types of business and or leisure clients? Will it have, if it's a leisure client, will it have the right size of kids club, family pools, family-based facilities, etc. If it's a business hotel, do they have breakout rooms? Do we have sufficient MICE technologies to offer to help support that? Walkability is something that we believe helps maximize the seamless customer experience in the destination. And by that we mean that those hotels or those products need to be probably placed next to our malls or our key attractions in order to help create organic traffic and flow seamlessly from one place to the other. And that's important for us. And that kind of would help emphasize and strengthen Mark's point about location, 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 because then you've created a destination within this destination.
And I mean, the same question to you. What have you learned about the importance of design in all its facets, or otherwise?
I wouldn't neglect at all the functionality, the circulation requirements for a given property, indeed with its criteria of classification. Today, we have different facets in the marketplace where we serve, and it differs from one country to another. Certain motives differ in Algeria or in Tunisia than in Jordan or in Egypt and Dubai, for instance, or even the Kingdom. But what is very important is, let's not forget what we do to the guest of what he wants. What the guest wants, he is our paying the bill. That is very important, to be always able to capture the customer needs, the customer requirements. And this, in some cases, back to basics. Very important is the service, what we provide, which lead us, all of us, at all material times, to ensure we have a guest experience. Whether they are our retired aged customers over the 60 or 70s, whether they are families, and whether they are the young family members, and in between the millennials, this is very important to have a differentiation factor. In some hotels, we had to put children playground, children rooms for them to play. But get what? It's not the same children playground that we put 20 years ago. We have to put their latest computer games, and the list is so exhaustive. It is important to really start from this element, whereby this particular child, this particular youngster is gonna have the decision for his parents to come back to my same hotel or to the same chain hotel. And this is what we have learned from the latest technology requirements. So it's not only to provide a tablet where with your tablet with your credit card that you can check in straight into your room. You can have a pre-check-in from the city before you board an airplane, but also after you have left the property. And these are things that are very important that we focus into our HR training and development. This is very important factor.
Ali, we've talked about a lot of things. We've talked about location, we've talked about facilities, we've talked about food and beverage, we've talked about technology, within properties, and we've talked about service within properties. For you as a DMC, which of these are the really important ones that your clients take very, very seriously and are the crucial differentiators when they make a decision on making a booking, on where to stay, on how long to stay?
Well, we follow the trend. So we are in cooperations with our partners. And the most important is innovation. You have to innovate yourself always according to the destination innovations as well, in order not to be late. We try always to follow this trend. So first of all, we have also online booking systems, so to facilitate the clients to access any kind of services or hotels by himself at any time, at anywhere. That's number one. Number two, also we try to see what is the most important local experience, because it is about experience. Traveling is experience. And being experts of the destinations, we try to deliver that experience in this very short time as much as possible. Because in any case, you cannot learn about destination in 1 week or even 15 days, even 1 month. So we are concentrating those important elements of activities or information and knowledge and transfer that in a very perfect way to our clients in order to really value what he has spent by what he is getting of this experience. The clients today, wherever coming from, they are more knowledgeable. They know everything about the destination by searching, by going to different website reviews. There are so many operators who are making only reviews about the destinations, about the services, about the hotels. So they are really know exactly where to go and what they want. Okay, and we try also to get back during the stay of the clients and afterwards by the customer care, let's say, reviews to see whether we were okay, if the client was okay, if our partners were okay, like hotels, like airports, transportation, how was the airlines. You know, small things can spoil the journey. Okay, if you have bad guy to receive people at the airport, you spoil everything. Spoil the efforts of the hotels, a view of the outlets, of whatever other infrastructure you have in the destination. So we try always to provide the perfect service in order to have the experience well received from our clients.
Take one or two more very quick comments or questions. We're going to have to wrap it up soon. So we've got a question here. I'll take that. We've got a question or comment here. Are those the final two? Okay, we'll take those. First of all, yours, sir.
Thank you. Terence Baker from Hotel News Now, STR Global. Talking about hotels, always mid-market hotels coming into a region and the rest of the United Arab Emirates, with a lot of these building of pod parts of the hotels. I know some of the bathrooms are pod. I mean, are we going to see these hotels rapidly enter the market? Maybe it was 2 or 3 years between planning and opening, and now it's going to be 6 months, 9 months. Is that going to happen?
Thanks very much, Nick. We'll come to that in a second. And your comment or question, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Dawa, and my question is most probably to Dr. Amine, especially because he said that the Louvre Hotel portfolio goes from 1-star to 5-star luxury, if I understood correctly. My question is about Airbnb. Airbnb is there. It's there. It was there yesterday. It's there today. It's getting stronger. It's probably not doesn't have an effect to hotel portfolio in the mid-market or lower market. But what is it going to look like tomorrow, in your own opinion, and whether it's going to have an effect on mid-market or lower market in 5 to 10 years? Do we have a vision?
Thanks very much indeed. So we'll wrap it up with that. I'm going to ask each of you to come back on those issues. First of all, ladies first, the issue of Airbnb. and its competitors? What impact will that have on mid-scale? And then the issue of modular or pod hotels, what impact will that have on the market in terms of development, in terms of design and speed to market? And Dr. Amine, if we begin with you on those.
With Airbnb, definitely it is to be taken into consideration in the future. And we will see more and similar, especially with the advancement in technology and with more the supply factors in the marketplace, yet with the needs in the economy of having more offers to the consumer. And this is one part of the threat we have today in hospitality. But what is important also is what quality and what service and what expectation to reach, what experience we need to have from such an element of provision from Airbnb. As to the modular, second question for the hospitality projects, it is very important to appreciate such a market niche from the investor standpoint all the way to the consumer standpoint. So in the past, we used to say, I will stay at the hotel chain because it is part of my perception, part of my expectation. I know what to have and I know what to expect. Today, it is also important to realize that the product from this modular room size, room color, service expectations, facilities provided to me as a customer staying in the hotels, even the color scheme, with such color scheme, what it will entail in terms of tastes. And even in 5 stars, they have provided some hotel chains special colors for ladies. They created ladies floor, they have ladies amenities, and so on. So as the world of tourism and hospitality evolves, as we are going to see more and more. So for the modular, it has a great deal of success factors ahead to really go for, and this definitely comes into the budget hotel sector that is a saving to the investor and also a saving to the consumer, because my return on investment is better and higher and faster in this respect.
Thank you very much indeed. Ali, your perspective on some of these issues?
Well, I think it is the trend that we have to take or to think carefully to maintain quality and sustainability at the same time. I don't think that will happen tomorrow, but in the next coming years for sure, because world is changing fast, technology is approaching fast, and that's why we have to always, as I said, renovate ourselves always with the new demands of the clients.
Mark, your perspective on those two issues that were raised in the audience. Firstly, Airbnb, and also this idea of modular hotels.
Airbnb is obviously there, it's in the marketplace. We're monitoring it. We believe our business is different than their business in terms of what we're offering and being able to offer a more robust offering in the hotels with the restaurant with the different aspects. We respect what they're doing, but it is something, their business is slightly different than ours. So we're going to continue to monitor what's happening, and we respect that. With regard to the modular piece, interestingly, it's a great question because we're already there. Today in Bristol in the UK, we have, in the last 2 weeks, had an event, a press event, where we're building a Hampton by Hilton at the terminal at Bristol Airport. 201 bedrooms were put in place in 9 days. And that hotel will open in November. And these are steel shipping containers that have come from China. Each one of the rooms is meticulous in terms of its fit and finish within the room. All the goods are in the room. We'll open that hotel later this year. The modules are in place, and then we build the skin around the module, build out the ground floor space, which is traditional. We've got another hotel in London that's under construction in the same way, and we're going to be using the same technique as we go into the sub-Saharan market. So if we have a shipping area, it's a great area for us to be able to bring the rooms in, have them put together, and do it so that we lower some of the cost up front for building the hotel before we're generating revenue from guests that are staying in the hotel. And it's really quite amazing to see the finished product as it goes into place, to be able to walk in, and in our case, it's room, hallway, and room in one container, and then those are fit together. If you want to see something like that, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to show you some pictures because they're on my phone.
But even your Mall of the Emirates hotel was pretty quick, wasn't it, I think?
Mall of the Emirates, 370 rooms, 20 months from groundbreaking to opening. The bathrooms were modular. We were doing a precast system. We worked very, very efficiently as a group, ownership, Hilton Design, to agree what we were doing inside, so that as we put it together, there weren't changes and things that were necessary. The output is a product that I think is fantastic.
Thanks very much indeed, Mark. And from your perspective, these two issues, Airbnb and modular construction techniques to perhaps reduce cost and increase speed.
Yeah. I think, Richard, it's a given that Airbnb has created a disruption in the marketplace when it comes to taking a chunk of hotel rooms. We're blessed that Yas Island will have some residential, so we're hoping to work with Airbnb in order to help increase some of that business that'll come in as well, and accordingly we'll maximize the amount of business that's probably coming to the island on that standpoint. It's interesting that you mentioned the concept of modular technologies when it comes to hotels and hotel designs, because what we're noticing is that there's not only a shift in the design and build-up of new hotels, but there's also a lot of innovation that's coming into designing modular hotels. We've been looking into or we've been exposed to projects that include themed modular concepts that are similar to camping, for example, and that could be placed temporarily on a site for a specific period of time or a specific season. And we're starting to see people play with modular technologies, as you were mentioning, the sub-Saharan desert and tented camps and other things. And we're noticing an evolution in the concept of modular hotels, and these are some of the products that we'd like to look at as well.
Fascinating discussion, exciting times ahead. Thanks very much to all of you for being here today, for your energy. Let's show our thanks to our panelists today. First of all, to Amine Moukarzel of Louvre Group. Thank you to you, sir. To Ali Abu Monassar of Division Destination Management. Thank you very much indeed. To Mark Nogel of Hilton Worldwide Regional Head of Focused Service Brand Management. Thanks, Mark. And also on my right to Karim ElGuanaini, Senior Vice President at Miral Asset Management. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.